Let's go. We're back for another. Not much love. A good evening to everybody out there. Hope all is well. Let's get it going. Man, good to see everybody. Thank you for the feedback. Deanne, Quantum. Good to see everybody out there. Gunther, Jay, the Judge, Geo with us, Yellow, everybody, man. Gabe, E Fitz, thank you. D White, Tooge, Tacos, Kev Bar, the crew, all the cats that share the stream. It's appreciated more than you know. MC Dirty in the house. I was lurking on your D live stream the other night. Keep up the good work, my brother. Eon with us. Hogskin. Pray for peace. Good to see everybody. E Fitz. Kathy. I hope everyone's doing well. Joe, Sissy Q. Salutes to everybody. The whole squad. Everyone that is watching this later. Just much love. Got to learn to enjoy some things while we can, right? I enjoy the presence of all of you guys. And to be able to do this, I appreciate it. And it's been a crazy long road up to this point. Here we are, the day after election 2024. 2024. And it's good that it's over. Let me just put it that way. Because if you missed it, I was live last night. I tried to hold down a stream just to throw some coverage out there. And it ended up being a solid stream. It was a long stream. We went all the way to the end, and it ended up going down pretty much exactly how we were calling it and walking it down. Um, Came down to Pennsylvania, and once they called that, it was wraps. And they didn't want to do it for a while, but there was a lot of effery, so to speak, with this whole election. There always seems to be anymore. But in the end, there were no shenanigans. Took one night. We had them before sunrise. We had the results, and everybody knew. I think it was like 2 a.m., something like that. We knew because Trump started to celebrate. We were getting word that they're partying down in Mar-a-Lago, and then we were hearing that the Trump campaign was preparing to make statements and all this stuff. And then on the other side of the coin, Kamala and her camp were crickets. She didn't even come out to speak to the crowd. She sent some dude out, and that's when you knew it was over. That's when you knew that they knew that it was over. And that's when heads started to explode all across the country. Little liberals were freaking out and whatever. I mean, my advice is don't never fall into the politics that deep and get that emotionally attached to politicians, for one. You're asking for a lot of trouble there at some point. But in the end, I'll tell you this, and I told you all along, my fellow Americans, from what my eyes could see, regardless if it's a left-right paradigm, all this other stuff, raw child control, all that, the Americans around me wanted Donald Trump to be their president. And they got it. So, be thankful for what you wanted. Be careful for what you wish for. There's no telling what's going to happen from here. And it's not so much a Trump thing here with me. It's a destiny thing. Thank you, Cognitive Thinker, for the coffees. Thank you, Kev Bar. I need to, hold on. If you need to email me, dabu7@yahoo.com if you don't know. Spot to get information to me. I'm just catching into that comment there, Kev Bar. Okay, yeah, well, get good point. You always got some good points there. We're gonna definitely dive into the whole election thing here. Got a lot of news to cover. If you want to see that election stream, you can go back, check it out. It's still up. Although they hit it with a blue banner, and it looks like this one has got the blue banner too. People are like, "What's a blue banner?" It's where it says right below the video, 2024 United States elections, and it says the AP is called the presidential race for Donald Trump. And then it has a link and all this other stuff. See, it's like damage control. There really isn't a whole lot here to do. When I see it, it's just a form of censorship to me. It's just something they've stuck on your video or your channel that slows it down. It definitely doesn't help promote it. Just put it that way. And we fight censorship as it is, left and right. So, like, when you see that, it's like, oh, great. If I would have said chemtrails, for instance, in the title, there would be a chemtrail banner up there. If we were talking about JFK, there'd be a JFK banner up there. It's just like damage control information they try to put up there. If you mention the NWO, they'll put one up there. I mean, it's crazy. So when you see me misspell certain things in the title from here on out, know that it's tactical. Okay? If you see me put E and then a space and then election, just remember what I said. I'm sure I'm going to have to remind people because it's just the way that you have to move and operate. As you can see, I couldn't even put the word election in here, and we got a banner on the video. Last video, I just put Trump in it. That's all I put was Trump's name in it, just Trump. They flagged it with election stuff. Anyway, this is why I thank you guys for sharing the stream all the time. Censorship's something crazy. And around the election, I guess to be expected. I mean, it shouldn't be that way, but when you do what I do, I mean, it's just like kind of expect another level of censorship around election. It's just the way that it seems to go. Start off here real quick. Up in space, we have a strong set of flares that have been crackling off the sun. We've got a new set of sunspots here, 3883 and 3886. They ripped off an X2 class explosion that was pretty much centered on 3883 here earlier. We're going to get a glancing blow from this. We're just going to have to wait and see what the models say here in the coming days off of this. But yeah, the sun at the height of solar activity. And we also have an object coming in here today at 0.8, which is closer than the moon. So if there's any fireball activity, that's what's up with space. And one last bit of information there. If you missed the stream last night, you may have missed the news that, like, out of nowhere, right before the election went down, Space Force says we're going to test launch an ICBM Minuteman III shortly after election. It's like, what? You're like, don't worry, it's been planned forever. It's like, okay, yeah, you've planned to stoke fears forever, like to freak people out and all this other stuff, right? Because the timing of all this. This is a flight test from way out here near Guam in the ocean to like the United States. They said it had a dummy warhead on it, but this was supposed to be a hypersonic advanced launch. We don't know nothing else about it because they didn't say anything. But what you can do with these, if you guys are not up to speed with what happens with these weapons, you need to get caught up because this isn't the days of old. We've advanced and we've got things like hypersonic weapons. So does Russia, China. That's going to change the game. It's not going to be like old school footage of bombers that you see flying right over the area and dropping loads of bombs. I mean, yeah, that can still happen. But they don't need to with these. They can send these things up to subspace. Once it's in subspace, it dives down at hypersonic speeds that they say conventional weapons cannot stop. Okay, but a laser, if you had it out in front of it, it would stop it. But a laser like that, it would fry also anything else it touched in its path, any bird, any plane, when you start to get to the laser aspect. And they're talking about that. Lasers, hypersonics, and also satellite weaponry. We've seen some suspect things happen here recently. It's all still on Biden's watch here on the United States, but we had a satellite just absolutely get blown to smithereens. And they were wondering, how could this happen? This wasn't any small satellite like a CubeSat or anything like that. This thing was huge. It was like 14,000 pounds. It was a huge rig. And it got blown into all kinds of pieces. And Russia apparently was sitting there close enough in subspace and observed the whole thing. They're the first people that I would look at if you're looking at for an enemy in space and space wars and war period. But they also have some that will eat into satellites. They will literally drift right toward it, connect to it like a magnet, and tear it apart. They've got some crazy weaponry out there floating around, so you just never know. With war on the table, what could happen? We're flexing our ICBMs, but, do we got an Iron Dome or anything like Israel? No. And this place is so vast and way bigger than Israel that even Israel's Iron Dome, when Iran launched, they penetrated it and got in. Like, what are we going to do here if they send drones of swarms from, I don't know, say a submarine just pops up off the coast, doesn't launch a nuke, just launches a bunch of drones? Can you stop them? Well, it's kind of crazy we're talking about that because they just rolled out new weapons. If you missed it, brand new weapons to our soldiers, and they are called direct energy weapons. It's not a conspiracy, it's not a gimmick, or it's not a question or anything. It's real. It's real weaponry. And they're giving it to our troops so they can down drones. The battlefield's changing. And if you haven't noticed, it's some of the most explosive and devastating attacks that took place inside of Russia thus far, deep, that penetrated in, that they didn't see coming and they couldn't stop, were from drones. Swarms of them. Okay, I'm telling you. And what did they just arrest here in the United States? FBI just came out and said they caught that kid. White supremacy crap manifesto. He was going to fly a drone into an energy facility. Yep, all that mumbo jumbo. Yeah, we can see them coming from longer. My thing is like, you've got 10 million illegal immigrants here. What is it for each one to get their hands on a drone somewhere? Or a bunch of them, and have been, and have been plotting this, have been programming them to take off. They're here. They're in here. This isn't going to come from afar, bro. They're here. The enemy is here. That is the problem. You've got to ask yourself, this Biden regime, all of them, just brought in 20 plus million people. And it wasn't to rig the election. They come nowhere close with it. They're actually missing 20 million votes from the last election. The Dems are. Like, where'd they go? Like, close to 20. It was like 14 million. Okay? Well, if you didn't bring all these people in here to help with your election, what are they here for? I'm telling you, it's war. You ain't seen nothing yet. And it's all about to begin. So, hope people are happy to get your president you wanted, this and that. That's not going to stop other things from happening. Doesn't stop anyone else from acting on this world stage. And you can't forget the script that's known. This place is coming down. So buckle up and prepare. And Trump and them know economically. We're going to get into that here in just a second. Keep on pushing here. Before I do, let's take a quick look at earthquakes. It's normally what I pull up after space and everything, so let's take a quick look. I caught something rather interesting. I dropped a video on the backup channel on Surviving in Times. If you guys are not familiar with that, it is my other channel here on YouTube. It used to be Dabu777. In the video, I'll show you right here what I found. And this is crazy. We've got a big swarm of quakes hitting. And they're due east of Iwo Jima. And these islands. This is the island chain, the volcanic islands that are near Japan. Okay? So anytime we start to see some quake activity, I go in and I look. You talk about like a religious thing, like, so to speak, like part of a routine all the time, like every day. Like for years and years and years, like I've been checking quakes ever since Fukushima. It's just part of the routine of checking into things, checking the news here or there, doing things, checking the quakes real quick, checking the solar flares, this and that. Well, I've seen a lot of the planet. I've spent hours scouring Google Earth, satellite images, and all that. Sometimes you find some Easter eggs, so to speak. Hidden things in the imagery that either they left there for us to find or they forgot to hide. And what you're looking at is a massive column formation out in the ocean, almost right in between where the islands are right here, these two islands that stick out, and where the earthquakes are hitting, the biggest ones. It's swarming, the quakes, and actually moving to the left toward these structures. Now, dude, that's not natural. I'll tell you this much. It's either some kind of artifact in the imagery, if someone doesn't want to think that something's there, or these are massive objects on the ocean floor. It wouldn't be the first time. There's all kinds of stuff on this crazy-ass planet. Wild-ass stuff. This, I tried to find on Google Earth, and wouldn't you know it, because there's all kinds of different satellite feeds. There's all kinds of different satellites. Different cameras taking pictures. Different companies that are putting them up. Putting up imagery. All the time. Some don't do all of the hiding that Google does. Like you're seeing here. Normally when you're zoomed in like this on a Google image, you can see it says Google real small all over the place. You don't see that one on this one. You don't see that here, right? They're sourcing different satellite imagery, which is good. Because without it, we wouldn't know that this was here. These are almost the exact same size. There's a little bit of difference in some of them in these structures. Like this one's a little bit smaller here. But most of these are all about the same size in a perfect straight line going north to south. Down to right here. I've never seen something this massive, this much structure. I've seen a lot of stuff on the ocean floor, but this is like obvious. Something is there. And when you go to Google Earth, they have blurred it out. All this is blurry. If you don't know what you're looking at on Google Earth, you'll just look and be like, oh, nothing's there, nothing's there. But you've got to know that they blur out half the dang ocean there, and it's a blue blur. Where you can really see are these very thin lines sometimes, striations, where you can actually see what the ocean floor looks like. And it's wild and crazy stuff all over the place, man. Anyhow, I thought it was pretty crazy. Anybody's ever out there off the ocean in Japan doing some diving, got something there. We've got another hurricane on tap. I know people don't want to hear that, but yes, it is, Retro. That's what's very interesting, but don't let the size of things fool you, because as far as I can tell, the people that were here, the ancients before us, they were much bigger and things were much different. I believe advanced civilization was here in ancient times, if not many times. It's here, the remnants of it are here, all the megalithic structures and the bases of structures that are megalithic and all that stuff. Going back to the giants, to the Nephilim, pre-flood, Gilgamesh. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people hit me up and they're like, man, we want to hear more about that stuff. Well, if I got time at the end of these shows, I try to get it in. Because there's a lot to talk about there. And I've got a lot of knowledge on it. I got books and books and books and books and books stacked up on all this ancient stuff. And I will say this right now here as well real quick. Was reading through what I would classify as scripture that was left out of the Bible. Just like the book of Enoch and Judah and all these important books that should have been in there, they left out on purpose. This was a letter from Pilate to the king describing Jesus. And I'm going to have to line it up for the next show, the video. You can do a Google search and you can look it up. It's on Global Written Accord. Pilate wrote a letter to the king about his encounter with Jesus and what he did. And he described Jesus. You don't find the details that he gives in this description anywhere else in the Bible. It's a wonder why they left it out. And this is the letter from Pilate to the king, describing Jesus, because the people wanted him to persecute Jesus, and he kept looking at Jesus like, this man's done nothing wrong in my eyes. And he tried to send it up to the higher court, to the king and all this, and wash his hands of it. And Herod tried to throw the ball back in his court. Like, these people wanted nothing. And he describes in it that the people showed up in the town. Like, he described it as like the pits of hell were there that day. Like, the demon spirit was thick in the air. The people were calling for the death of Jesus. He was talking about all these things, but he described him, his hair, the length of his hair, skin tone, and all. And I'll let you do your own research if that gets your wheels turning. And then when you stack that up to all the rest of the books that they've kept hitting, man, there's more sacred knowledge in these books that they've kept hitting than you even know. Again, I'll try to touch more on that here later. Let me start ripping through the news. Does the normal newsman give it any of that type of stuff to you? I didn't think so. So Hurricane Raphael doesn't look to be nothing major. It is going to come into the Gulf. But when you got a hurricane spun up, anything can happen. They can fire this thing back up in a moment's notice. They sure can. They can hit it with an ionospheric heater, blast energy into its core. They can do this several different ways. It's a fact, Jack. Jim's got a site out there that covers all of it. He shows you where they're positioned and everything. And they've got some that float out on floating platforms out here in the water. They can do the same thing, like floating harps, so to speak. Just saying. Watch this, because it could still bring flooding or anything else into the region. And as it's showing here, the Gulf oil rigs are in its crosshair. So that's probably the main thing I'd be on alert for right now, is that it's targeting all of our oil rig sector. We'll see what it does there. Hey, Quantum, thank you for the super chat. Yes, and a much love to you too, and all the purebloods out there. You got that right. Well, hey, much love. Stay safe. That's for sure. Salutes. We have U.S. oil production could be cut by 3.1 to almost 5 million barrels if the hurricane reaches 2, which it already has. Earlier they were saying it hit 3 coming up on the coast of Cuba. I don't know if it's going to die down a little bit once it hit Cuba there, but it's hitting western Cuba, and once it gets back out in the waters, they're expecting it to get back up to Category 2 and then hit these oil rigs. So let me remind everybody, I don't know where the sitting president is currently. It's like shenanigans. But Biden did deplete our oil reserves massively. Do not forget all the damage this dude's done. He's done so much damage that there's no way that Trump can fix this in 4 years, as I see it. He could do some things and turn some things around, and I'm sure that they'll put some positive things in motion. Especially for all the people clamoring about some things, wanting some things. But there's also going to be the other side of the coin as well. And it's inevitable. It's not like bad things can't happen. Hell, the whole lockdowns and all that started on Trump's watch, so don't give me that. It sure did. Might have been at the end of his watch, but it was. Don't be so short-sighted on things and also short-memoried. Man, we've been here before, again. But this is a different animal. Different animal, different time, different time frame. Let's talk about a drought. It's not very fun to deal with, but a drought is part of weather weaponry as well. Oftentimes, a drought is something that creeps up on you. You don't see it coming until it's too late. That's the dangerous thing about it. And it's happening, look at the map here, it's in 1 degree or another, all across the country. How is that? Some areas seeing it worse than others. I feel this is a weapon. And to get the people to see this, I'm not sure they're ever going to until it's too late, like I just said. It's already begun. I'm going to tell you right now where I'm at here in Kentucky. In October, you're supposed to see, on average, what they say, 3 inches of rain in October. I saw none. It rained for one day for like 20 minutes hard. We got nothing out of it. And then the night of the 31st, they waited till literally after midnight to start raining, and we still didn't get nothing from that. I got nothing. I've got a water gauge out there, and past every single time that it rains, nothing's in it. And it's like, what is going on? And I can sense it in the atmosphere. It's almost like the rain, they're calling for rain. Like today, 90% chance of rain. The clouds came through, everything came through. Yeah, some moisture dropped for like 20 minutes or something, but no hard rain. Nothing to fill anything up. Nothing to quench the ground and everything that's parched. Sure wasn't. Where are we? So we're about to go in a week into this month. I'm keeping track. I hope people are paying attention out there. I mean, we're entering the wetter season, so hopefully things pick back up. But I'm not even in the worst of it. Other people in other areas out here seeing it way worse than what I am. So I'm thinking to myself, if it's this dark all across Texas, Oklahoma, all these other places in Arkansas, Missouri, West Virginia, Ohio, all these places, like, you've got to be feeling it too. You've got to be seeing it and feeling it. So they're predicting things are going to be drier and warmer this winter, which just means drought. So, and I wanted to mention real quick for everyone out there that may be dealing with some health issues, that they've put out a list of nutrient deficiencies that have been found in Americans. And it shows the percentage of Americans here that are suffering the most, the highest. It's 96% in their study here. Vitamin D, they are lacking of. Right? And this causes bone weakness, low immunity. You can get this out of mushrooms, beef, fish, egg yolks, things like that. Vitamin A is right behind it. Vision loss, blindness. Then it goes on to calcium, vitamin C, B6, iron, B12, which I found out myself last year when I went trying to figure out what was going on with me. That I had a deficiency there in B12. They couldn't tell me why, for whatever reason. And then I come to oddly find out that everybody in the freaking doctor's office seemed to be coming in to get these shot and be having the same deficiencies. I'm like, hold on, like, what's going on? And then the nurse even said, I'm like, hold on, this is just way too much. This is something in the water. That's all I could track it back to. And that's when I was like, the hell with all this. And I had to start breaking away from things, from the smart meters, from the city waters, all that. And I don't have none of it around me now. And it feels so good. So, Poly Market, where all the bets were made for this election, it had its whales profit, so almost $50 million off this Trump victory. It wouldn't have been any Americans, though, because Americans aren't allowed. What kind of crap's that, though? Like, whole world's betting on the side over there. But Americans aren't allowed. The whole world, again, betting. And what I was gauging it on was just the sentiment from around the planet. Mark Cuban is invested in a group that's tied into this. And I watched him make some comments on it. And he was like, look, I don't believe it's a reflection of true American sentiment. And I listened to his reason. And his reason was solid because he said he was invested in it. He knows. He goes, Americans can't, this isn't American money. This isn't Americans talking with their money. This is sentiment from around the world. He goes, I know because I'm in it. He goes, Americans cannot bet on poly market. He goes, so this is not Americans' money, American sentiment. And it was a valid point. Love or hate, we're Cuban. So I was like, okay, I see, I feel it. But, I mean, there was all kinds of people just going buck around the world for Trump winning. I seen today. It's just Andrew Tate and all them, they're just going nuts, and all kinds of other people. And I will say, hey, it's better than get everyone freaking out right now, being stuck with Kamala or something. We'll get further into the politics here in a second. We're going to get deeper and deeper. It starts with the Trump-Quake. The Trump-Quake, and it hit the markets. And I told you that if she got in there, it was going to be an instant dump. You'll probably see the opposite effect with Trump, and then that's where you got to watch a blow off top. Okay, do not forget, Bezos just cashed out billions. Do not forget, Warren Buffett just cashed out billions. These guys are sitting on the sidelines in record amounts of cash. Okay, do not forget these things. Some people are just getting bedazzled. They're like, oh, Trump won it. Everything's just going to be. Don't be that ignorant. Don't be that ignorant to think everything is just going to be peaches and cream. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but a wise person wouldn't let their guard down and would know at this point that it's only a matter of time something huge is about to happen. The Great Reset has not even happened yet. Let me remind you again. And Trump still has 2 months before the man's even inaugurated. You got 2 months to get through on this mystery man Biden. He's like, where's Waldo? Where is the dude? Who knows what's going to happen with the markets in the meantime? Trump's got to get in there and get sworn in, do all these other things to be official to start making moves. Not out of the woods yet. Okay, just remember that. And remember my warning about a blow off top. Well, first phase of it's begun. Everything we said. First phase of it's begun. I will say one thing. Well, let's take a look at all the markets. Let's look at the markets. You can see overall things spiking. Mega caps, Tesla jumps. Obviously, Elon's involved. All this stuff. Crypto jumps, obviously, because Trump is running as the anti-CBDC candidate, which equated to being pro-Bitcoin and all this other stuff. So that was bullish for that. I want to point out, though, something. I tell you all the time, when Bitcoin runs bullish, it's got to find a footing somewhere. It's got to stop. It's got to stop and get comfortable, and then everything else catches up, okay? Look at this. What do we have here? What do we have here? We have Bitcoin supercharging to an all-time high. Look at Ethereum. Look at the Ethereum BTC. These are things you got to watch in charting. We're back down to a low, a support. Like ETH isn't moving here. So this is like silver in the digital world. And this is exactly what's been happening with gold. Gold has been charging record highs, and silver has been hitting that $33 wall or whatever, sitting right around there. And it's waiting to explode. So Ether will explode at some point when Bitcoin stops. Just mark my words. It's a given. It's how it works. And all the other alts will follow. It's called alt season. But what do we have here? Let's see. Trying to find this one. Gold. The one thing that dumped. Some people are like, well, Yeah, well, I'd be buying this dang dip. Be honest. If I had any spare money and I was looking for to get in, let's look at this. Let's zoom in real quick. Where is the footing here? Okay, so it's got a support somewhere right down here around 2,500. Right here, it will catch there. If gold falls to there, dude, if gold pulls back that far, you've got to learn to see the openings. And if you're someone that's already invested and you're holding gold and silver, and you just bought some here in the past few weeks or something, and you see it drop out, and you're sitting here like, oh no, you don't look at it like that. You don't. First and foremost, a wise investor would double down. If it's something that you're invested in and you believe in it, you would take this opportunity to buy the dip. And it's how it works, man. This is where you fill up. You don't fill up when everyone gets excited and it's running up past 2,700 and you're like, oh man, I gotta buy some. That's FOMO. You never do that. You gotta learn to pump the brakes and wait for these moments. You see? They don't happen every day. They don't happen every day, but look at the market. Look how the market works. It rises up and it peels over. It rises up and peels over. Up and peels over. That's all it does. It's up. It's a series of ups and downs. And all I'm saying with this, man, silver and gold, pull back at all. These are blessings. These are blessings. Because this thing, you just remember these little spots that I pointed out when I'm like, man, I told you. I've been telling you since 2017 about gold and silver. So I don't want to hear it. Anyone that's been in it this long, you're definitely loving it. And when it comes to the market right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like as soon as the dust settles and all, like anything can happen. This stuff can dump out at any moment. Anything can happen. Again, we've got 2 months to get through this Biden regime. They can make any kind of moves in the government right now, and it affect the market. Don't forget, Elon Musk said it's all going to tank down because it has to. They set these things. So all these people that are like, again, bedazzled that Trump won and in there, like, don't be blinded by the light, dude. Like, listen to the people around him. They're sitting there and they've told you the economy's about to tank. So do not lose sight of that. And the fact that the billionaires just are sitting on the sideline in cash. You should be too. Waiting, patient, not worried about this little, in my opinion, I wouldn't be worried about this little bit of fluctuation here at the top. If I've somewhat just got out of my 401k or something like that, I wouldn't, and you see headlines like this, I wouldn't be stressing that at all. What I'd be doing, if you're sitting on the sidelines in cash, is I'd be eyeballing dips. And hey, they just provided one for you. Well, everything else was taken off. You needed an entry on gold. You just got one. Could go even lower, like I said. That's when I'll really start looking at it. It hits 2,500. That area. Gold skyrocketed 51%, and it was a slow burn. As the OBS has kicked out and back in. Thank you, someone there, for the coffees. Appreciate it to the fullest. 51% rise, slow burn, his last term. So over 4 years, that's in a long-term investment for something, just normal terms. In just 4 years, that's a decent return. That's just during his tenure, and there was no new wars or anything like that to pump it, really. I don't know, this is a different time. This is a different time around. I see it skyrocketing on his watch for several different reasons. All connected to this economy. You got gold, silver? I keep stacking it. I try to get it fractional, and I'd get a smelter, and I'd start melting it in melting it down into rounds and into bars and things like that. It's fun. Just ask Tacos. He got into it. It's a pretty crazy thing when you got a torch and you can sit there and you're melting down metals into liquid, and then pouring it into different little shapes and everything else. It's pretty crazy when you're messing with molten metal, pure silver, pure gold. You might want to practice though. Melting down. Again, I can't help but think that so many people, I know there's a huge relief that Trump won this thing. I get all that. But I can't stress enough, do not let your guard down. I just can't stress it enough. To me, it's always when something happens like, bam! They let their guard down. It's what they wanted you to do. Here's Buffett in his comments. Buffett basically said, yeah, I got out of the market. And he goes, his comment was, you don't have to look too far to find market fragility. If the right catalyst comes along, this thing's done. The right catalyst, eh? Wonder what the catalyst is going to be. Remember, we're waiting on announcements on these other banks. See, there's so many things that can happen that are completely out of Trump's hands. It doesn't matter if that man's in there or not. If the feds come out and announce that JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo and all these other big banks are just like Bank of America, they are involved in money laundering of fentanyl, Chinese money, and all this other stuff, stocks are going to dump. They're going to dump in them on that negative news. And the fear is if they dump out bad enough, if it creates a bank run, then bank run's a bank run. People ain't going to be able to get their money out. All this other stuff, they could put freezes into place. You don't have to worry or stress anything, I guess, if you're sitting on the sidelines with $325 billion in cash. Like him, I'm telling you, man, you've never seen this stuff before. You've never seen this kind of moves. Definitely being made. Now, Bezos reaches out to Trump, gives him a big congratulations, man. Like huge comeback, and he's traditionally lefty. But he's reaching out saying, hey, congratulations on the stunning comeback and all this. And it seemed kind of butt kissing. Well, when you see articles like this, makes you think. Did you know that more than 70% of the products that wholesalers and retailers sell on Amazon are produced in China? Made in China, sold on Amazon. A share of items sold on Amazon by the country. 71% of everything on there is out of China. That's, So, let's stop and think about this. Trump gets in, he goes to China. He's like, look, tariffs. All of a sudden, every single thing you do, and guess who it affects all of a sudden? It's going to affect Bezos and his Amazon big time. Soon as Trump gets in there and he starts to put a plug on all this stuff and these tariffs start to fly, I'm telling you right now, this isn't going to bode well. We're going into an economic war with China. Whether people see it or not, it's already begun. Trump isn't saying much of a word about any of it at this point. But he's let you already know tariffs are his weapon. He's even going to go after our allies in Europe with them, saying that some of them are worse than China when it comes to this. That they won't buy our goods, but they expect to sell their goods to us and us buy them. It's like, what? Like, I'm so sick of this other people's crap. I'm just saying, Bezos could take a hit. And if Bezos takes a hit there, his stock takes a hit. But see, he just sold the top. He just sold and made billions. Bezos did. And who knows how many other people just made huge moves that don't make the headlines. All right, let's go to California real quick. A lot of voting going down, right? Can you believe that, well, you guys know, but I'm not so sure that people realize that the crime that was going on in California was actually made legal. You wonder why they were rolling in the stores and just robbing them blind and walking out with all the stuff and then making the stores go bankrupt and all that. It was made legal. That's right. Because George Soros and Open Society Foundation backed this Prop 47 that magically redefined felonies, making them misdemeanors. And instead of spending money on prisons for the state's ever-increasing number of criminals, the state reckoned it would save money by not building prisons and just letting people run around and the madness go. Well, that is no longer. Gas may be getting more expensive over there, which they say it's going to be getting in California. But now, people voted to put an end to this madness. Voters took the decisive step toward sanity by passing what they call Proposition 36. Under this change, the crime will start being illegal again. They will start being prosecuted. Acts of theft will be combined to reach the threshold requiring punishment. Addicts will be sent to drug courts and all this other stuff into treatment. It's a start. It's a turn in the other direction. Something has to give, right? So, just so you guys know, like, the pendulum always swings back and forth. But in this instance, people it hit its limit of insanity. So it's on the books now so that people know. Until Newsom or whoever else comes along and changes it. But it's a step in the right direction, right? Got to try to find the pluses here. It seems that most of the mainstream media has lost it, have just lost themselves, have gone bonkers over this whole Trump thing. If you've got cable or something like that, maybe you know. Maybe you've seen some of this, heard some of them losing it. I laugh because I'm going to play some clips here in a minute off my Twitter feed. That's worth it. It's worth the laughs. It's all these people freaking out and all this stuff. I'll play it in just a second. But I want to play a couple clips here. Scarborough basically tried to blame this whole thing and say that Latinos are racist and blacks are misogynist. All this crazy stuff in this other clip. I'm not even going to play that one. I'm just going to play this one where he does admit that this is a red wave. And you can just tell by his body language and everybody around him, like, it's hard for him to say all this, but he admits it. He's saying that this is the biggest red wave that they've seen since Ronald Reagan taking 49 states in 84. Wow.
I mean, so much to go through, so many questions. I came onto the set and Willie said, hey, by the way, because we were talking.
Oh, and by the way, I can't stand Scarborough, but I'm just playing this piece, so. Or his little dog next to him, too. Albany would have called it the choice words, huh?
About the historic nature of this sweep.
Yeah.
And Willie said, do you know, he only lost Illinois by 4 points.
4 points.
New Jersey by 5. I mean, you talk about we had talked about a red wave 2 years ago that never materialized. This is I've got to say, this is the biggest red wave I've seen since Ronald Reagan's 49 state victory in 1984. It seems every Republican across the country improved. Well, I mean, so much to go through, so many questions.
Yeah, and just to show you guys here real quick, some of these numbers. Donald Trump officially right now holding 291, which comes in at 72 million votes. Okay? I mean, where'd all those votes go for the Dems? How come? And thank you, Iron Metal, for the coffee. God bless. Much love, Charlotte. How come the 20s, the OBS cuts out and comes back in? Here, let me show. Okay, the House still is not called. This is going to be the big thing I wanted to look at here real quick. They're projected. The Republicans are projected here to take the House. You can see it's 209. They need 218. They took the Senate, so it's one massive red wave. This trifecta, so to speak, so that you know. It means that they're going to hold the House, the Senate, and it's going to give Trump's agenda unprecedented power. Cannon's coming through with the memberships, man. Thank you for gifting the memberships. All these people, man. Welcome to the underground. Warlock, I feel you. I feel you. Yes, I think it's been longer. Yeah, it's been longer than that for me. Since I've had cable television and all that. You don't even have TV or any of that stuff here. Just got my monitor and my computers and that's it. So I miss out on all the propaganda, which I'm glad. But sometimes you just you'd like to know what they're saying, what they're pushing. Well, notice here, they say that this is going to give Trump an unprecedented mandate, meaning anything and everything that he says, there's not really going to be any blowback in the Senate or in the House. No one's going to be able to stop it. Anything and everything that they want to push through and do, bigly, they're going to do. You just remember that. Here's Trump, if you guys missed it from last night. Man, Barron, I'm telling you right now, Barron is like offspring of the Nephilim. Look at this dude on the stage, man. Look at Barron right here. He's like a foot taller than everybody else. He is a giant. I mean, everything about him, his whole head, everything, his whole body, everything about him is huge. When he walks up there, towering over everyone else, it's just crazy how huge the kid is. Towers over everybody. It just reminds me of the prophecy of little Baron Trump. And what this kid is going to become here on this world stage, man. Look, they had to leave him out of this shot because he was too tall. All right, I'm gonna play this piece here. This a quick little piece that lets you get a feel for Trump's win, and then I'm gonna keep on pushing.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Well, you got a taste of it right there, saying this is going to truly be the golden age here in America. JT, thank you for those coffees. You know, all in all this stuff aside, man. Yeah, don't we all wish and hope that we have a good future from here? That our country is at least prosperous? Yeah, or can change, shift into the other direction, and just not be so bad, you know? You at least shift toward the positive and away from the negative. That's good. Again, you got to learn to, I guess, take your wins where you can get them. I don't know what's going to come about all this within 4 years. I do see a lot of positive things, and we're going to go through some things here that are planned here that can change things big time. But the thing with Trump only having 4 years is a big thing with me. Just because I just watched this regime come in and undo everything he did in the first 4 years as much as they could. Spit on it and all this other stuff. And it's just like, man, like, I almost feel like, and last time, I'm going to be honest with you, we watched Trump let Hillary walk. That can't happen. This stuff can't happen. Like, corruption needs to get arrested and be held accountable, or else this is all just a show. You know? All this stuff is real. Child trafficking, all this stuff, all the evil stuff with the Epstein list. And let's see. That was the big thing. You know, Elon and them were saying these things. Look, they're scared. They're scared that if, you know, the billionaires on the left are scared that if Trump gets in there, you know, the lists are going to be exposed. That is the talk. That is what they are saying. Well, guess what? Trump has won it. What are they going to give? You know, the masses. Who are they going to go after? Who are they going to? I mean, the jail thing is real. They stuck Bannon in there for 4 months. I was thinking, hey, they could still do it with Trump. It doesn't look like it's going to happen with Trump, though. It doesn't. I have one up here. Yeah, right here. Let's go and bring this up. the DOJ reportedly winding down the Trump criminal cases. Okay? And this is going to work to Trump's favor and advantage here, too. It says that special counsel Jack Smith, overseeing the 2 federal cases against former President Donald Trump, has considered a possible pathway to end the cases, according to 2 sources familiar with the matter. They're saying that all this broke right after news came that Trump won the election. And this is what they're saying. That basically, they can't prosecute him because there's a rule on the books saying that they cannot prosecute a sitting president. So that's huge. That means these prosecution, these charges, felony jail time, all these other attacks, whatever that was going to come after him, per the law, in their rules, and they know this, they can't do anything. So they're doing away. They're backing off of it. It's kind of crazy. It's going away. So that's what's happening there with his charges. So if people start to wonder, well, whatever came of that, well, I just told you. We also wondered, will he actually get inaugurated? Will he make it in? Will Kamala certify the election? Will she do it? That's the big thing. Well, I guess one thing to watch today is if she gave this phone call to him and gave this concession speech, telling her people, we lost. And she did. She did all those things. But she also did use what I will call crafty words in telling her people to fight in the town squares and all these things. So what they tried to throw on Trump, tried to say Trump's words incited violence and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Well, she turned around and did it right there. For any of her youth or her Antifa or whoever that are out there in the streets or that were there listening, those were her words that you go take the fight to the public square. And we'd seen Antifa hitting the streets last night. Seattle PD clashing with them. But this is a sign that she may just go through with all this and certify the election. There could still be some crazy... I'm sure there's going to be wild headlines in the next 2 months of all kinds of stuff. It's not just going to be quiet. I guarantee you there's going to be some kind of drama. Watch. Somehow, some way, some kind of headlines. I thought that this was pretty telling, though. They said too big to rig, right? So I felt like Trump has to come out and smoke her. Well, coming up at 292, I was smoking her. But look here. Let's talk about this for a second. Because, man, I think there's definitely a fraud to be found and had here. When you look at these numbers, the Democratic popular vote, Republican popular vote from 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024, you can see that almost every single time the Democrats had the same level on the popular vote, right? For some reason, obviously, these astronomical numbers pop up in 2020. And that's really when Trump had all of his gusto. He had more of a popular vote then than he even did this time. Can you believe that? Okay? These 84 million votes. Okay? These extra 20 million votes, so to speak. There's a 20 million again. Where'd they come from? Where'd they go? Where'd they come from abnormally to do this to begin with? And where'd they go for this election? You know, there wasn't a massive spike. I mean, actually, Trump's was lower again. Where'd they go? It's things like this. It's like the thumbs down on YouTube. They took it away so you can't see it no more. Because people were using it as a tool to show the world just how much they dislike the establishment in all the videos. And it's one of them little glitches in the Matrix. That if you catch them slipping, if you can find a way, if you catch them slipping, you can blast through it, you can show and tell everyone exactly how you feel and express it that way. They censor every other avenue. Well, they did that too. You see, it's crazy, man. The censorship is such another level out there. Let me go down here, though, and play this clip. I thought it was kind of funny. Jake could not believe that she didn't beat Biden anywhere, nowhere across the country.
Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more. Are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
I had to play it twice. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. Holy smokes. That not one county, you heard it out of his own mouth. You never heard this type of stuff or comments or anything beforehand. But this shows that some of them were just, even him, blown away. Well, this is what happens when your whole base is fake. When you bus in most of it. When you don't have any genuine rallies of support. You know? They got 20 million people here, though. We know that. They crossed the border illegally. But they did not use them to vote in this election. Why not? Why not? And what are they here for? I keep coming back to that question, and I'm going to keep coming back to it. What are they here for? And I'll keep bringing it up until they're gone. Or until they show you why they're here. But in the meantime, everybody's blinded by the Trump light. Look how they paint the light halo around his head. He'd love that. Just like Apollo. Well, they say that America has become unburdened by what has been. I gotta laugh at that. I got to, regardless of all the crap, because all the videos that she's in saying that stupid phrase, we can actually say it just like that and it'd be so true. Unburdened by what has been. She's out of here. You know, after this, still got 2 more months, but or do we? Do they spark World War III before they can even have inauguration? Now, there's a lot of interesting things. How much more can they squeeze out of Ukraine in these 2 months or anything else? Israel, all these fronts. I don't know. It's kind of... Will Biden pardon anybody? Well, Trump wins. Move to Canada searches spike. Liberals melt down. And, oh, man, they melted down bad. Let me, I got the best ones over here on my Twitter feed. I'm going to blow these up real quick. Some of these are so hilarious. All right, I feel for this dude. This is a dude standing on his porch, and this is, I guess, a liberal neighbor, tearing down their walls, hair sign or something. Just listen to her in the background. There's a little bit of cussing, but it's them losing it. It's so funny.
Hope your day gets better.
Shut the fuck up!
Positive energy.
Shut up! You don't understand English!
Hope your day gets better.
Okay, so that's one. That's him just getting started here. Here's
Right now, I feel! What do you feel? Give it to them! What did they try to take?
some of these clips are too much, man. Yeah, and this is me listening to them all geek out.
I personally think that if all of these women don't understand our rights today, they don't deserve to teach a woman for the next 4 years. So, hope you got that through, guys. I personally think that if all of these women don't understand our rights today, they don't deserve to teach a woman for the next 4 years. So, hope you got that through, guys. I personally think that
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's bad. Oh yeah, we gotta play this dude, man. He loses it.
I can't believe Trump's actually gonna win this fucking thing. I can't believe Trump's actually gonna win this fucking thing. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm so pissed off. Fuck! God damn it!
Man, watch your
I
mouth,
can't
son.
believe Trump.
That was White Dudes for Harris losing his ish. Here's a funny one.
My fellow Americans and autists who voted for Trump, it's your boy Dank Brandon here. I want to take a moment to congratulate the DNC on losing another election to Donald Trump. You replaced me with a candidate who has the same likability as Greasy, hobo taint and expected to win, and they say I'm the retarded one. The Democrats said that I was too old, that I was too slow, that I was a joke. Well, here's a joke for you. What do Willie Brown and the 2024 presidential election have in common? Kamala Harris blew both of them. I shouldn't have said that. But seriously, I mean, first Hillary loses to Donald and now Kamala. This man has beaten more women than Doug Emhoff. Anyways, congrats on losing to Hitler again. I hope he locked you all up this time. Dank Brandon out. My fellow Americans and autists who voted for Trump,
That's obviously
it's your boy Dank Brandon here.
obviously somebody made that. I need to see if I've got. Oh yeah, never again. Goodbye. Never again. See, I could have swore there was some. Well, I guess that was them. I'm not gonna play the compilation of all them screaming again, man. That's it's a pretty hard thing to tolerate. Here, there's some other exclusive ones here, just showing more people melting down and losing it, man. Over this.
Can all the girls and gays unite? I need a collective group hug. I'm about to start screaming like Sarah Paulson and Colt from American Horror Story.
It's just crazy. I guess they thought it was
I don't know what you expected us to do.
It's really sad how, to be honest, how brainwashed all these people are.
right, guys, it's time to go to bed. None of us are stressed about the election, right? We all are gonna just go have the best night's sleep of our lives, aren't we?
Yeah, so you can see a lot of people going to social media, flipping out right there. Had to share a couple shots. And here's a shot of the Seattle PD fighting Antifa. As soon as they take to the streets, I expect to see more of this.
Do not interfere with the police while they're making arrests. If you interfere with the police, you'll be arrested. Move away. We encourage you to film. We just ask you that you give the officers some safe working space. So please move away from the officers while they are making arrests. We want you to film. We just want you to give them some space for a safe working environment. Standing on top of the police is not a safe working environment. Can you give them a little more space? We encourage you to film. We want you to film. Please give the officers some space while they're doing their job. Our intent here is to get back to a normal First Amendment event without criminal activity. The only way we're going to interfere is if criminal acts are committed, or if you interfere with the police taking action. Our purpose here is to make sure that this is a safe event for everybody and keep the streets clear.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's nothing massive. Do I expect to see anything from here, man? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. All right, so let's look at Trump and his administration here. What's going to go down with him? Well, he's got RFK, as he calls him, old Bobby, on the team. And I will say this. RFK has talked a huge game, a big game, about health, children's health. His whole site and everything is under that banner. Children's Health Defense. And he has said time and time again he's going after the FDA and all that. Well, lo and behold, he's in there. And he's going to go after him. So, it looks like some of these things are going to happen, man. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that's bad. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there smoke and mirrors. But, again, sometimes there's things that are for the positive. Like, he was supposed to come in and take out all the upper ranks of the CIA and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, I say to myself, yeah, right. Like, yeah, right, you're going to do that. Well, we'll see what he does. But this whole FDA thing, going in there and, like, clearing house, he says there's entire departments, like the nutrition department at the FDA, they got to go. They're not doing their job. They're not protecting the kids. So, things are going to happen in these departments, you know? That should be positive. You know, cleaning house. I mean, that's all of what their big promises are here. We know it's one big establishment. Like, I'm interested to see with his comments about going to the upper echelon of the CIA, how high he takes it and what he does, or if it's just more musical chairs. Smoke and mirrors, you know. I don't know, but on the bright side, you know, all these all-stars, they're calling it the all-stars team with Tulsi and Elon and RFK. The Magnificent Seven is what I saw earlier. In this image, I think Rogan was in there, Tucker. I don't know, they've got everyone like captivated. And it's like they can do all these things and like they've got the attention of a lot of eyes. So they talked a big game and now it's time to come through if they're in there. So I see a lot of them coming through with some things. They're going to have to. They're going to be sitting there looking stupid, right? So I see some positive change coming out of this. Especially versus what you could have had with Kamala right now. Facing capital gains, taxes, unrealized gains, taxes, all those other things, man, coming for your guns, and it's the nightmare. You know? No doubt about it. This is what a ton of people were hoping for and praying for. They got it, but it's look here, Steve Bannon. I bring him up because, man, they actually threw him in prison for 4 months. And it's just proof here that, yeah, it's an establishment, right? But, dude, there's factions in here that don't like each other. It's just that simple. Because if everybody in the club just got away with everything all the time, he would have never even went to jail. And all this other stuff. Some of the stuff's like, man, I don't know. There's a clip here with them, but I'm not going to play it. It's like 10 minutes long. And they talk about just basically the law and some things about Trump, but it's kind of boring, so I'm not going to play it. So far the Democrats are down 14 million votes from the 2020 Biden miracle. As I said before, what happened? What's up with the 20 million votes again? Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to continue to question that. It sticks out like a sore thumb when you look back at the data. And it's just some of these things they didn't think about, like in terms of data and stuff like that, that down the road people are going to be able to look at and like find them guilty. Like that's a huge anomaly. It's rather obvious something happened. And they wouldn't attack anyone that wanted to question it or anything else, you know, or say anything about it. Hell, every video that I put up since the election thus far has had a blue banner on it. As they're saying here, the mainstream media, though, kind of cracked on this. Of course, they're upset and they're pissed, but when you look at the results, the search results of what was going on, it's not good. There's massive bias. And just look at this. If you were to look on Google search results, it gives you results that lean 64% left. And that's crazy. It's totally unfair when things are like this. You can see Bing, Yahoo, all holding lean left, you know, positions, so to speak. I mean, in terms of election news, heavy, the same way. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. You can't get anything solid that's trustworthy from the mainstream at all. I mean, I even seen, to my amazement, I didn't see much of Fox News in this whole thing, any clips or anything. I don't even know who's on there or whatever, but I did see Trump complaining. He kept saying, you know, the heck with Fox News. They don't care about us. They're like dogging us. That's what was coming out of his mouth. Like, they're not supporting us. So he didn't have kind words for Fox. Now, this brings me to the war in Ukraine. This is a huge thing here. It is. It's a huge thing. The whole thing with Ukraine. Now, yeah, Trump gets in there day one. They stop all money that flows over there. Granted, if things don't happen between now and then, he can do that. I foresee him doing that. He said he's going to do it. I can see him doing that, no doubt. Okay? But he can't stop Russia from continuing to bomb. He can cut off money to Ukraine and say the hell with that. And then Zelensky's going to be screaming over there like, oh, we're getting slaughtered. You're just letting it happen. Blah, blah, blah. And garbage. It's all garbage anyway. They've been slaughtering their own people. They've had several chances to go to the table and talk peace. They've wanted none of it. Instead, they struck deep inside of Russia with drone strikes and hit specific locations. And then Russia roared back and has since gobbled up all kinds of territory in the east. And there's a huge, huge chunk of what used to be Ukraine that is no more. It's now Russia. Russia has grown larger. It expanded its border. And, you know, what's interesting is people already got these things already set in their mind. I've seen people in the comments of my videos, they're like, oh, Putin and Trump are tight. Who's this and that like this? It's like, man, some people like whip up, like everybody's got their own opinion, but I see some wild stuff out there sometimes. For instance, I told you on the last stream about how I even put a video out on it because people need to see what's going on and hear these things. About Medvedev, about Russia, saying that if Trump thinks he can meddle in the Ukraine, he can get JFK'd, assassinated. This is the dude that said it. Well, like, I said it in the video, when I put out the video. But still, people come along and they're like, well, I don't believe Putin, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I didn't say Putin. This is comments from Medvedev. And then people jump in there and are like, oh, I don't believe it. The Democrats would be more likely to assassinate him. And this and that. And it's just like, well, they could very well, whatever. But they're trying to, they can't believe that this information is being said out of Russia. Well, just go look on the man's freaking channel. On his official Telegram. This is where this information comes from. Okay, so he said it. Not the CIA, not a Democrat. He said it. Yeah, any one of them could do anything. But this information came straight from him, and he posted it right here. This is the source of it. You're looking at it. And what'd he say? What'd he say? A tired Trump who spouts platitudes like I'll offer a deal and I'll have a great relationship with will also be forced to comply with all the system rules. He cannot stop the war. Not in a day, not in 3 days, not in 3 months. And if he really tries, it can become a new JFK. So, just to clear that up, so will Trump be able to talk a deal? Obviously, Putin is the front man, the front spokesman. He's made positive remarks. It would seem like they would be open, but that's not what we heard today. Peskov is their spokesman. He came out and he says, no. He goes, you got to remember, we're unfriendly right now. It's the first things he said. He goes, right now, there is no congratulations or anything like that. Like, what? Like, no. Like maybe later or something. We don't know. But he kept hitting on, like, we're not cool. Like, why would you get a congratulations? And he pointed out the fact that Putin says they really don't care which one wins the election because they both want the same outcome with Russia, the downfall. That's Russia's statement on the whole thing. And you just seen Medvedev's. They're two different people. They got opinions. And they're both out of Russia. They both end up saying in the end that the United States better take their nuclear warnings serious. So, again, what keeps coming to my mind is that Trump will try to work magic here. Yes, I do see that. I see him trying to go in and be Mr. Peacemaker and all this other stuff on many war fronts, maybe. With Israel, all these things. But again, I think the biggest thing that he can do is just cut off the funding, first and foremost. And that sends a big signal that you're no longer funding the madness. And I think that brings Russia to the table. I think it ends the whole thing. And I think it moves to possibly a different front, which I covered on the last stream, which you might have missed, and it's about Moldova. Remember the name. It's set to be the new Ukraine. It's connected to its western side on the left side. And they're talking that it's ripe to be the next spot for some kind of action, which I don't know. There's always something they got going on, man. These people, don't let Russia fool you. Russia is just like the United States. It is a war machine. It makes a ton of its money off of a wartime climate and off of selling weapons and off of war. It's no secret. Russia is a lot like the United States. They always have been. A largely Christian nation. Flies the red, white, and blue. But it has to be enemies on the world stage to play this whole thing out. Because you couldn't have World War III with us being buddies. No one can stand to Russia and the United States when they're together. No one. No one. We showed that at the end of the last war. No one. And it doesn't work because they are makers of military machinery in a different kind of style and brand, and then the United States is. So splitting up allows them to sell to these different people around the globe the different equipment and all that. That's how they're making their money. And it's been making Russia's economy boom. The whole thing was we stole their money, and which wasn't wise, wasn't smart. We're guilty. We stole it for no reason. And that's not good energy and not good karma. What do you think they're going to do in the end here, man? Anything major that happens to this country, any kind of major cyber attack, they'd support. I don't know, you'd have to see like major Trump magic in this field. Let's see what these guys have to say. We got Dave Smith up here on Patrick. No, I'm not even going to play that. It's off YouTube. I'll probably catch a freaking strike. Like I did off Joe Rogan's. Unfortunately. That's one of the downfalls of having the restraints of YouTube over here sometimes on you. You try to cover the news and play some of these clips, but if it's off a YouTube channel, sometimes I can't because I played one little Rogan clip and got hit the other day. Look at this, though. Interesting. Iran-backed Houthis declare a ceasefire shortly after the Trump victory. So this is a signal. This is sending a signal to Trump and his administration. It's forming. They're looking around. Of course, they've been telling us the whole time there's all these threats from Iran on Trump's head. They want to take him out and all this other stuff, assassinate him. Over and over again, they've been saying this. I think that this is a strategic move on their behalf to say, hey, we'll talk, but I'm not sure that's going to happen in terms of Israel. Israel's just, they pop off whatever, wherever they want, it seems. And Trump's backing them. It seems if they go after Iran and Trump's in there, Trump will back it because they've already threatened his life. And that's all that he's got to say. They're threatening to kill me. So we got to stop them. That's what I feel the theme's going to be. This stuff is not going to stop. If all these wars to stop, then guess what? Here's your false man of peace. Here's your man of peace, right? With the whole Israel thing, I wouldn't doubt it because they already named towns after him. They look at him like he's some kind of savior, as some others do. They got him on the opposite or on a coin with King Solomon. It's yeah, this is about to change. Everything's about to change up, but Israel. I mean, Netanyahu even showed last time. He's always shown. They're doing whatever they want. Doing whatever they want. Netanyahu seemed to be all smiles, though, about Trump winning, which tells me that they got something planned. And look at here. You can see right here. Yes. In Hebrew, backwards right there. A lot of these people look Turkey congratulating Trump. He hated Biden. He calls Trump his friend. Erdogan. He goes, my friend Trump, who won the presidential election after a great struggle, was reelected in this new period. He goes on to say, I hope that Turkey and U.S. relations will strengthen and all this other positive stuff. The Iranian government steps up and says that U.S. elections are not their business. And they basically didn't have any comment on it. Get out here. The Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas congratulated Trump. Saudi Arabia, MBS issued a cable congratulating Trump. King Salman also praised Trump, and then the Iraqi Prime Minister congratulated Trump. So all these dudes in all these areas just nodding to him, like bowing there, yeah. It'd be interesting here. I mean, it's all interesting here on this world stage when we're like in like the midst of a World War III type of atmosphere at any moment with some of the stuff. And which is it going to go hot here with China? Really, China is something that I look at closely here. They say they hope for a peaceful coexistence. They voice caution after the Trump victory, but this is what China's saying. They're hoping that everything goes good and that Trump and the White House will handle Trump-U.S. relations with principles of mutual respect and peaceful coexistence. So that's what China's saying. If the and apparently Xi Jinping gave Trump a call, talked to him, congratulated him, and these guys talk on the phone. You got to remember, this world is a stage, dude. Xi Jinping was groomed by Henry Kissinger. Do you understand? Rothschilds have controlled China since the days of Mao. They took the guns from all the people and then killed tens of millions of them. It's been a CCP clampdown ever since. And their emperor right now for life, Xi Jinping, is Western trained. and was really, really good friends with his mentor, Henry Kissinger. Just do your research, and then your jaw's going to hit the floor. For those of you that just don't know, you need to see this. The world is a dang stage, man. If you get China wrong, though, it's not good. And China's going to rise. They are rising on the world stage. There's nothing you can do about it. Dropping nukes on them, all this stuff. Every country's got their own problems. China is actually going, in terms of population and all, they're going into decline mode now, which is crazy, which has caused India to surpass them. And India is now the most populous place on the planet, which is nuts. But China, man, it doesn't matter. If they really wanted to go to war with someone, they wanted to ship 1 million troops over here, they already have. They slipped across the border. It's not a conspiracy. That's what's happened the past 4 years. It's like a 10 million man army here. Easy mill Chinese. Million man army. Here, hiding in the shadows. What does Trump do now about all the Chinese property that butts up next to our military bases? Does he go in and do something about it? Does he kick them out? I mean, these are hard questions that need asked, and we need answers. Like ASAP. Mind you, they've owned some of these properties since the last time that he was even in power. Some of these properties have been owned for a long time, which is nuts. They're here. That is one of the, if not the scariest thing out of all of this. It's that 20 million people got brought in here again, and they didn't even use them for the election to rig it. What did they bring them in here for? 1 million of the top, I'm going to say highly military trained, is definitely the Chinese that are being housed, I believe, at these properties that we know butt up next to the bases. And you know our military knows it. You know they know this. Why are we the only ones that see this as a problem? It's almost like, we've already been sold out to China to such a large degree that, like, they own large chunks of this. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of, I don't know. I can't find a valid excuse to give you on why a foreign nation owns land butted up next to all of our important bases. Dozens. Again, bring it up to Trump. Say something. Say something to him. Like, in the meantime, the United States, and remember, we got 2 more months to slide through before even J6, and it's got to go to January 20th at noon, before he gets inaugurated. I have seen Trump get inaugurated with these eyes. In the flesh. It's crazy. It's like, that's a crazy event in itself back when it happened. I went up there. I was there. I watched him get inaugurated. I was going through some of my stuff, and I found a hat and a pen and all the stuff that was from it, the inauguration. I was just sitting there thinking about it, like, man. I was like, yeah, I don't need to be at this one. Guys are telling me I need to be there. But I've been to one. I got the experience. I've seen it. I've had Trump within 15 feet of me, from covering all these rallies and all this stuff. But the inauguration is a big event. It's a huge event. This is going to be the end of an era, the beginning of the end. And I'm not talking doom and gloom in that type of aspect. I'm really saying that this is the end of Trump. This is the beginning of the end, the last chapter. You understand? This is it. Do you know that never again, ever, at this rate, will you ever see a Trump rally ever again? You have the inauguration. And then the rest is his business. He's in the White House and so on. There's no more gatherings for all these people. Some go occult with it, hard. But there's no more gatherings for all these people ever again. Ever again. Ever again. No more stadiums packed. Now, sure, they can hold one-off events down the road for this and that, but nothing like this. Trump train, full exploded. Cars, boat parades. Even the Amish got in on it this time. Huh? on the carriages, flying the Trump flags. Right? You'll never see it again. You'll never see it like this again. No one can match this, I feel. J.D. Vance doesn't match it. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to hand this off to him as being the next savior. And I don't know. We'll see who buys it and who doesn't. But I'm not right at the gate. And I told you, all of them were surrounded by Lubavitches. And that right there says it all. That's who has the plan to carve out the new Israel in Ukraine. Do you not know it by now? That's it. It's open. Go look. Their leaders say it. It's in writing. And actually, they say that the Russian offspring in them, they were chosen for liquidation. If we talk like this, they'd call us Nazi devils and all this other stuff. But you're dealing with people that has it in the scripture that they should kill people like me and you. This is, man. Who stops the bombs from dropping across, like right now, all across Syria? I've seen a statement tonight. Israel said, this is outside of the peace deal with Lebanon, or the ceasefire with Lebanon. So it's, they're trying to show everybody that, and they said it, they're going to war on 7 fronts. Maybe not all 7 at the same exact time, but, man, they went from, Gaza up into Lebanon, from Lebanon into Syria, to striking Iran, to back to Syria. Who puts restraint on that? Can Trump do that? Will he be this man of peace on the global scene? Will he? I keep circling the wagon back to that. Will he do some of these things with Israel this last time around? It's almost scary that he's going to, because I told you all the biblical connections that there was with Trump. They're all there. Well, now, you got him for 4 more years if they get him sworn in, right? And he stays alive. None of us are promised tomorrow. And he's getting old. Trump's getting old himself up there, man. So that you know, Rocket Man, just in time, for everything, for Trump's entrance back onto the scene. I find it odd and funny that so is all the talk with North Korea and Rocket Man. See how these things work? But this time, they're on the battlefield in Ukraine. But again, if Trump can stop all that, he stops all of it. We haven't seen no one come out on the world stage and strong arm any major war like this and broker the peace deal. And I've been kind of eyeballing someone's going to try to come along and do it in all these war fronts. Xi Jinping's threatened to do it. Trump now potentially. There's different players out here. Peace is better than world war, but let's just hope that with Trump here getting in, major war doesn't escalate. He's always seemed to at least be one that could communicate better in that terms with like Russia and things like that. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. World's a stage, man. And it doesn't change the economy. I don't know. I mean, play this out for a second. Let's just say that the United States, Trump and them, they strike up a peace deal with China and Russia and all them. I don't know how he does that when he's going to throw tariffs on them all. I really don't. But let's just say it does. Strikes up a peace deal with them. Are they just going to do away with everything they just built? Bricks and all that? No, they're not. No, they're not. It's established. It's a counterbalance. I keep foreseeing a massive economic shock. There's no other way around it. The market or our money. It's all our money. It's the banks. Whether it's the banks or it's the stock market, whatever it is. Something's going to happen. And it's technically, it's not going to be Trump's fault. He'll have that out. And he's already said he's inheriting a ticking time bomb anyway. They seem to already understand this. You understand, they've set these things. They set these things. So any Trumpers out there should be shocked if these things happen. They've said as much. He's on record saying this. And it's rather obvious. They've done so much damage to this economy and everything else that, he doesn't have full command of absolutely everything. What the Fed's in there doing when they're making these cuts and they're doing all that stuff, that's their decisions that they're making alone in all that. I don't know. Finna get interesting to say the least. I just hope that, I don't know, man. I just want to see peace and good things for us and our country, for our people. I'm sick of suffering and everyone being poor. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to drop some final thoughts from here. Oh, man. Well, first off, I want to thank everyone that joins me for all these streams. Well, it seems to me that, man, this is like the unknown. This is like dangerous territory. Trump, won it, but, until he's sworn in, I feel like we're in uneasy territory. Like anything can happen. DCB coming in. Thank you so much. So much. You guys just don't even understand what it means. The support out there. You coming through legendary, man. That's... Man. Thank you. Much love. God bless. Yeah, I appreciate all the support from those out there that support the channel. Appreciate it more than you know. I look into this next year, into 2025. Keep all this rolling. Keep things going positive. I look to be doing some things. Going some places, doing some things, covering some things. Got some interesting things lined up. As long as everything is going good. When I stop and I keep asking myself, what can mess this up? What can mess this up? The same thing hits me every single time. And it's the event. What is the event? It's the event that's going to be, it's electronic in nature. It's going to hit our money, or it's going to hit the markets, or both. I don't know the magnitude, but dang it, we've known it's coming forever. And it's like, it's going to happen. We've entered a window now, like, you got to understand that it's destiny. And it's also part of a ritual. It's going to be so much more than what some can wrap their head around. But man, final phase is how I see this, I guess. Of America, do you want to call it? Its last chapter. You know, at the height of it, I feel like it's about to come down like Building 7. By design. And that's not good. You know what else isn't good? 20 million Americans are fake Americans. 20 million fake Americans full of murderers, rapists, non-believers, killers, just everything you think of are here. And I feel like there's about to be a huge confrontation. You know there's going to be. It's what Trump has promised, and it's something we have to live through. We have to go through. Roundups of these illegals, but what is going to really happen here? I feel there's going to be massive uprisings at this point. This is it. I feel they're in here like a Trojan horse, and they've been waiting for this magical moment, certain time to do something, and they haven't done it yet. They haven't made a single move. I'm talking big. I'm talking where it changes everyday life. Like this stuff, this boom, just starts happening like madness. These people, I feel, will put up a fight before getting rounded up and taken out of here. I also wonder, how is this going to be done? There is 20 freaking million illegal people here. What do? Do you deputize everyday good people in groups of people? I mean, you ain't got enough manpower to get that many people. Like, has it ever? It's never even been done before. How you gonna round up some 20 mil? Huh? How close will they actually come? What's gonna happen when they? How are they gonna get these people? To me, they're gonna have to track them down, and then that involves kicking down doors. In instances, it's gonna be gun battles. That's where this is going. How can it not? How can it not? I told you, man, I fully expect a new series of cops to fire up now. Real talk. And we'll see. We'll see if Antifa and them do anything. They look to be weak. BLM has been dissolved, it seems. Pro-Palestinian didn't flex at all. We'll see here. The biggest group of them all are the illegals that are here hiding. It's the biggest worry to me. I feel they'll be blamed for some big events that are about to happen. It could be lights out. Remember, I told you about the dude they just busted. And the feds were all connected in it. About trying to fly a drone and explosives into an energy facility in Tennessee. I feel like these things are going to actually start going into motion. And that's the least the establishment would do here on Trump's watch to get him. So, I don't know, man. You guys tell me what y'all think here in the chat. All right, here's one. Do you think we make it to Inauguration Day, through the inauguration, without anything like huge happening? And that could be like another attempt on Trump or some other off event that's huge. Lights out. Something crazy. They obviously didn't do nothing. No cyber attack, nothing major throughout this election. They were there prepared, and actually right now, as I speak, they're holding a conference down in Atlanta. The feds are. Hey, thank you, Liberty. Thank you very much. Thank you for those coffees. Thank you for everyone tonight that has supported the channel, shared the channel and the information. I don't know. I feel like there's a high probability between here and then that something can't happen. Any last-ditch attempts that the left also could try to throw in there, monkey wrenches. And I don't know. Remember, Biden somewhere is the sitting president right now, and has control for the next 2 months. I mean, they can do anything. We're gonna wake up tomorrow and Biden sends the final big bill to Ukraine, and it's just like billions and billions, and like nobody does anything, like they never do. Like nobody ever does anything. Everyone just sat there and watched them send all this money. Wasn't no massive protest in the streets or outside of the White House over it. Never, not once, no. Nothing. Everybody bitched about it and said something on social media. It's about it, but nobody gathered and protested down, try to stop it en masse. Didn't happen. So they got away with it this whole time. But they're running out of time. I mean, think about it. Just put yourself in this position, because that's how an investigator has to do it. You got to think like a criminal. If your criminal and you've been in power here, and the time on the clock is running down, and you've only got 2 months left. Your team isn't even in control. This next handoff, they lost the election. It's like, what do you do now? Like, this is it. It's done. It's the end of the road, Jack. It's the end of the road. Anything we can do, before it's over, that we're going to look back and say, oh, we should have done this or that. They're being greedy and thinking they can get away with it. I immediately think of money. That's what it normally always falls back to, right? And I think of that. I think of them cutting some checks here. Definitely got 2 months' time. Yeah, I see them cutting some checks. Man, I don't know. It's the only time I tell at this point. I'll look to be back here on Friday for the next one, God willing. And hopefully we don't see any crazy events. If we do, I'll be dropping videos right here on this channel. Make sure to check in every afternoon. Usually dropping at least a video a day. If you don't know, I got the backup channel as well, Surviving in Times. Dropping over there as well. Follow me on X for updates throughout the day and just breaking news throughout the day. If anything pops off, that's where you're going to get the news first, is on X. It's just the way it is. Well before a video or anything else. It gets tweeted out at the blink of an eye, and it moves quick. So, thank you, Liberty, JT, Iron Metal, someone's out there, Kev Bar, everybody from the Super Chats. Much love to all the mods, all the pure bloods, all of you that's always tuning in. I appreciate it more than you know. I'll see you guys next time for Underground World News Live. Salutes, much love. Much love, Nate, Steve. All my KY soldiers. Pixie, Granite, MJ, David, Mayhem, Scott. Much love, Gabe. Michael, D.Y. Ron and Raymond Knight. Giovanni. Yeah. Eon. God bless. Legendary. MC Dirty, Wayne the Pain, Optimal, NY Prepper. I see you, much love. I see you, Karen. Much love. Turn to God, Scott, D, Brian T. Much love.
The Garden of Eden, the Great Flood, the birthplace of Abraham.
I know of men who have taken life needlessly in other conflicts. I can assure you, they live with the mark of Cain upon them. The enemy should be in no doubt that we are his nemesis, and we are bringing about his rightful destruction. If you are ferocious in battle, remember to be magnanimous in victory.
I took my place at the table and drank wine with the kings. Picked up my sword to go and battle with the gins. There's rumors of war and it's about to begin. So repent for sins before you send for your wings. About to school them out about prepared crowns and kneecaps. Wrote revelations, been there and back with deep math. Read all the scriptures, seen through them like a sheet glass. I did the knowledge equipped with many weed sacks. So ease back and speak facts, my spirit is prepared. What will be, never show no despair. Keep your head held high and have faith in the hair. And join in because there's power in prayer. And when the hour is here, don't be devoured in fear. Cause the flowers of smoke, they gave me powers of seers. And I've been pounding ears for years to down fears. So welcome to the underground, the fun that starts here, yeah.
Welcome to the underground, your safe is over now. We got a place you can't escape because you serve the crown. This word is moving now, the world is losing now. Out of the promised land cause they refuse to bow. Welcome to the underground, your safe is over now. We got a place you can't escape because you serve the crown. Now it's a day away, the war about to break. So grab a sword, pray the Lord, and soldier take your place.
Angels stand ready at the four winds. Abaddon's armor's on, about to storm in. So warn men as they hearing the lyrics. Stand bold, don't fold, ain't no fear in the spirit. The spirit, the spirit. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, speak truth. Tear down deception, your only weapon, the words he's given. So spit flames, and rain hell from heaven. Form up, we about to storm up with the right team. The spite scene will make that all-seeing eye scream. With light beams we make them melt into a light sheen. Unless they covered by the blood like a sunscreen. The unseen is made clear only by his grace. For the king we give it all, we run the race. War is on, sword is dawn, make no mistake. Don't fall, stand tall, soldier, take your place.
Welcome to the underground, your safe is over now. We got a place you can't escape because you serve the crown. His word is moving now, the world is losing now. Out of the promised land cause they refuse to bow. Welcome to the underground, your safe is over now. We got a place you can't escape because you serve the crown. Now it's a day away, the war about to break. So grab a sword, pray the Lord, and soldier, take your place.
It's time to take your place, or you getting replaced. You either ride for the Lord or getting your soul erased. The demons give a chase, they all up in my face. That's when I hit them with holy water like it was mace. Better repent for sin and overcome the gin. The end time's here, so baby let the games begin. We walk in righteousness, the only way we gonna win. The soul screaming to heaven, begging to let them in. The seals are breaking, prophecy got the earth shaking. Better awaken or forever get your soul taken. I ain't faking, you better prepare when the Lord comes to separate the wheat from the tare. If you care,
can't escape me cause you serve the crown. His word is moving now, the world is losing now. Out of the promised land cause they refuse to bow. Welcome to the underground, your safe is over now. We got a place you can't escape me cause you serve the crown. Now it's a day away, the war about to break. So grab a sword, pray the Lord and soldier take your place.